The year was 2012. And this is a story about that time we were on our way to a juggling festival and almost got arrested for a federal offense. A poop you not. Um, that's instead of saying a shit you not. I always think of Sweet Home Alabama. Sweet Home Alabama. Because she's like, I never understood that phrase and why you gotta say it like that. I just think it's funny. A federal offense, yes. And so here's the story. There was money, kismet, juggling, fire spinning, some prep for future romance. You've got to be in the inner circle for that info. Police ocifers, yeah. A whole heaven ton of divine flow and alignment. And yes, the year was 2012. And if you know about 2012, you know. A lot of things happened in 2012. It was like prep for the future. Things were like choo, 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 prepping you so you're ready for the future. I know a lot of prophetic and spiritual people who are aware of that. If you're not, check it out. Think back to what happened in 2012 for you because it was lit. Okay, so let me see how to tell this story. So the point of this story is about yeah, people when you're going through a divine shift, when things are changing for you and you are changing things from the way that they have been, sometimes things can get a little weird before they get better. And if you've been one way and you're another way, it can trigger people. In my situation, this was a complete stranger. And so, it wasn't like I was triggering new people in my life. But let me tell you the story. So I found people on Craigslist. Nobody gets hurt in this story, just to preface it. And nobody gets arrested. um, so I found people on Craigslist. I needed to go to California. There was a healing conference at a mega church there, and I wanted to go. And um, yeah, the whole story is really about abundance and money and divine flow. So we got a little lost because I got food poisoning, but we're gonna call it day 19, I think. Um, of I love money, gratitude, 21 days of gratitude challenge, gratitude for money. So I needed to go to California because I wanted to this conference at this mega church. And there are miracles involved here as well. And I think I had like $100 cash. Maybe it was $85 cash Canadian. I'm not quite sure, but it wasn't a lot. Um, and I said to my friend, like, how do I pay for this conference? Because I don't have a credit card. I didn't use credit cards back then. I still don't really use them that much. And he was like, I don't know. Um, like, it's not going to work. You're obviously not going to California because that's silly. You can't go to California with like $80. And I was like, don't test me. But when you know you're meant to do something, you know. And I will preface this with a small warning that results may vary. Use your own discernment and wisdom and know when I just don't want that one spot like that. And know when you need, like, know your own flow. Don't try to do something somebody else did because it worked for them, is what I'm saying. You know when it's going to work for you and when your body is telling you, like, no, when your body is telling you it's going to be challenging, a little bit awkward, but it's going to be okay and it's better for you. At one point in my life, the Christian worship song kept repeating in my mind, it's going to be good, it's going to be great, it's going to be for you. And that was so helpful because sometimes you'd be like, oh, that seems difficult or challenging. And then the song would like pop in my head and it'd be like, okay, it's gonna be difficult and challenging, but it's gonna be good, and you can go in that direction. It's not a bad challenging, it's a good challenging. And that was super really so helpful. That happened for like a year and a half. It was amazing. Okay, so California. I found these people on Craigslist that were going to California. They had a van, and it was two guys, and they were gonna pick up two hitchhikers on the way through the hitchhiker app. It all sounds very sketchy. And I decided I am wise and full of discernment and I trust myself. And so once these gentlemen come to my door and I get to look at them, I shall decide if I shall get in the van with them or not. And I have all kinds of friends. Um, but we all judge people in a certain kind of way. So let me just tell you, when these two gentlemen walked up to my door, this is 2012. So how old was I? How many years ago was 2012? That's like, it's hurting my brain. It's like 15, 16, 40, 30. I don't know. I was like 29, 30. That sounds about right. And they were a little bit younger, I think. And one of them had pointed ears, I think, and fang teeth that were like sharpened. Both had split tongues. You couldn't see that when you first look at them, but they showed me pretty quickly. I don't know why. And some piercings. And maybe the guy had green in his eyes. I don't know if he'd done that yet. Anyways, probably your grandma would say, no, don't get in the van with them, honey. But I saw their heart and their joy, and they were becoming circus professionals. And I could tell that these were fun loving, good hearted, honest young men. And so I was like, all right, let's have it. So we went on an adventure together, and I drove part of the way, and we picked up two hitchhikers on the Hitchhiker app who were both wonderful humans. One was from the Middle East and a lovely, lovely human, and another was maybe it was Japanese. And we had such a great time, great conversation, lovely, amazing. So the thing was that in order for me to get to California, um, for a second I was like, "Oh my god, am I live?" Yes, yes, we are. Okay. In order for me to get to California, we needed to go to where they needed to go first, and they were going to a juggling festival. At this time in my life, I was like, "Juggling festival?" I've done trapeze in the Bahamas, and I have done partner dancing, and I think I did a little acro yoga by then. But I wasn't juggling, and maybe I did a little bit of poi. Yeah, I think I could do a bit of poi at that time. And so it seems like it was 100 years ago. And so I was like, juggling festival, okay, sounds good, let's do it. So we went to this juggling festival, which was in the States, in Seattle. And then that was like two nights or so. And we like had a big potluck at someone's house. And then there was like a garage in the backyard and people camped, and the garage was like set up like a secondary like guest suite area. And there was like couches and stuff in there. So I don't know if brought my sleeping bag, but someone must have had a sleeping bag for me. And so I slept in there. And then I end up meeting this guy who's at the juggling festival who will turn out to be a friend for the next 10 years. He'll also turn out to be a very good friend of the housemate that I will soon have when I get back. I'll have a new housemate. This is all in 2012. And so there's all these like divine kismet alignments, divine flow. Okay, so the one guy on the way to the juggling festival, we stop at his relative's house. I'm gonna just leave a couple details out because I don't know who's gonna watch. Um, his relative's house, and his relative played a poker game, and like had a weekly poker game with the guys. And this relative gave our van friend money to pay for gas and just to help him on the journey. Maybe it was close to his birthday or something too. And so, sorry, oh my god, this piece is driving me nuts. Um, he gave him some money, gave him dollar bills, like hundreds. Like, yeah, I think he gave him like 500 and like $100. And or maybe it was 20s. I don't know. And we needed to put gas in the van, and this was a big chug of a van. It was a big ass van. And so we go to the gas station on the other side in the States because at that time it was cheaper still. I would assume it was cheaper. That's why we got it on that side. That's what we always used to do as Canadians, but now different story. And at the gas station, the clerk inside scans the dollar bills through the bill checker thing. We don't do this very often in Canada, to see if they're fake because they're American bills, and I guess that's easier to fake them. And what do you know? But these bills are fake. Okay, we did not know. We have nothing to do with this. These bills were given to us by this guy's relative, and the guy's relative did not know. They came through a poker game. So she calls the popo. I don't know that she's done this. I'm looking around the shop. I've gone to the bathroom. I'm looking at the chip aisle. I'm excited. I'm going to a juggling festival. I'm hanging out with these people I just met. We're asking each other questions, getting to know each other. And I'm going to California to this conference, and I'm excited about that. I'm gonna see my family member on the way back. Like this is like a nice spring trip, early summer trip. So she calls the popo. The popo show up at the gas station, and now we get split into three separate groups. There's three of us at that time. Three separate groups, and each questioned and lightly interrogated. Maybe the guys got more interrogated than I did. I don't know. But we weren't allowed to be near each other when they asked us questions. So I go outside and I'm like standing by a car, but they're like, don't go far. I'm like, I'm not going, I'm not going anywhere. And that's what happens. But inside, while we are waiting for the police to come, the the lady is treating us like we're criminals, but we know we've done nothing wrong. So the point of the story, talking about abundance and divine shifts and divine flow, being that I'm a divine flow, divine shift coach, is that we were still having fun. We were in joy and we were enjoying each other's company. And it was like a beautiful day. And like I said, we are excited. So we were in joy. We were enjoying each other's company. We were laughing and giggling and telling jokes. And I'm sure they were doing like accents and being silly. And that's the kind of vibe, playful circus kind of vibe that we had going on with each other. And the lady is becoming, like, livid. I don't know, she's, like, in her early 30s. She's or maybe mid-30s. And she comes over and she's like, "Why are you guys laughing? The police are on their way. You should be" I don't know what she said, but she's like her attitude was like, "You should be terrified and, like, acting shameful and, like, quietly waiting in agony." But we're like, "Okay." Like, we've done nothing wrong. And, um, yeah, it was just that juxtaposition there of, like, staying in joy. Like, we were not matching her stress level. Like, I don't know why she was stressed. I mean, I guess she thought that we were trying to steal or cheat or something. But we did not know that these dollar bills were fake and they were given to us, and it was a complete, you know, whatever the word for that is. We didn't do it on we were not doing anything on purpose. That money ended up being, I think, taken by the cops. And if you have over $100 bills of fake bills, it's a federal offense. Good gravy. But he knew that we did not do it on purpose and that we were not creating these fake money or anything like that. And so he just took the money. So now my friend was out like 120 bucks or something. Um, but or maybe more. I don't know if they checked the other bills probably. And yeah. So the point there is just that like we just stayed in our joy and we stayed in our excitement. And that lady was like, "Why aren't you more upset?" It's like, why would I be upset? Like I don't feel shame or guilt because I haven't done anything wrong. And nothing has been like stolen or taken, of course. Like the whole situation was just innocent and nothing terrible happened. So that always just struck me how she just came over and she's like, "Oh my god, like you should not be having fun." Um so that's one part of the story. And then the other part is just like the divine flow of how all these things happened. So it was like following my discernment, I was following my wisdom, and we went to the juggling festival. The juggling festival was really fun. I learned how to juggle. One of the guys like stood with me and taught me for like half an hour, and I learned how to juggle. And we saw fire spinning. They did fire spinning that night, like after the potluck at the guy's house who was hosting the whole thing. It wasn't at his house, but we went back to his house after. And just a beautiful community of fun, circusy, hippie, artsy, dancey, movement focused people. And then I got to my conference in California. And that conference also changed my life again, 2012. It's when I found somebody told me about the book by Benny Johnson. What's it called? La, 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 The Happy Intercessor. And because I was learning that I was like prophetic and I knew things and I could pray over people and like know things because I was in the spirit flow. And some people in sort of like an evangelical everything is a war Christian tradition are just like, oh, then you like it's a burden to know all these things and you're carrying other people's burdens on your heart. And like to be prophetic and know things is like, ugh, so this divine woman who's now in heaven, in the heavenly realms, she wrote this book called The Happy Intercessor. And it helped a lot of us at the time. Um, know that you could be a happy intercessor, that you it didn't have to be dark and like heavy. And so at that time in my life that book was really important. I still have it. And I learned about that book while I was in California at that conference. That conference was a healing conference. I thought it meant like spiritual inner healing. That's involved too, but it actually was for like physical healing and there was like physical miracles that were happening. I was like, "Oh my god, I didn't know this is what I signed up for." There were so many other aligned things that happened, but I'm just going to keep this shorter today. And I didn't have a ride when I got there. I was like, "It'll work out." And then in this in the stadium, it was in the stadium the first day and then the big church the second day. Um, I sat beside this woman. I was like, "I need a ride home. So if you know anyone going this direction, like get a hold of me." And I don't know if she got my phone number or not. I can't remember. But on the last day or second to last day, she sees me and she's like, "Oh my gosh, there she is." She's like, "Stay right there." And then she like goes and gets these guys who was two delightful fathers. And then she's like connects us and she's like, "These two guys are going the exact direction that you're going. They're going to give you a ride home." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." So me like telling that woman who sat beside me on the first day helped me get the ride home. So it's like divine flow. And maybe you think like, "Oh, it's awkward and weird to tell this woman I'm looking for a ride home when there's like 5,000 people here and it's America and who I need to go back to Canada." But guess what? Those guys were staying down the hall from her in the hotel and she was the right person to tell, and my intuitive sense was saying, "Say that to her because she can connect you." And so that's what I mean about like divine flow, which like is related to the frequency of money and abundance and receiving transmissions and also allowing yourself to receive the gifts that come from all that. And so, yeah, so that is part of the story. What else should I say? This is the conference where the oil miracle happened. I won't share it now, but I shared about it with Olivia in my last interview that we did last Wednesday. So that's in the conversations playlist with Olivia. And we talk about, does Jesus like money? And what else did I want to say about that? Yeah, so when you are going through a divine shift, when things are changing in your life, and some people might say leveling up or a quantum leap or a divine shift. Um, just be aware that you might trigger the freaking frack out of people because maybe you used to think that that money could only come through blood, sweat, and tears, and that it's really hard work, it's really challenging, and you got to look stressed out while you're doing it, while you're getting that cashola. And if you decide, no, that is not the only way to get money, and it doesn't have to be like that. There can be awkwardness and growth, but it can be easeful, and I can attract money and I can receive money. I can let it flow to me. Things can be different than they were before. And when you start acting in that way and you still have some of the friends that agree with your old belief system, you're gonna trigger the frick out of them. Just saying. That's probably what's gonna happen. And that goes for all different kinds of, divine shifting. Some of those people will realize with you and change. Some of those people might drop off and then circle back later because they figured it out themselves and things shifted for them. And then you circle back. I'm hoping that a bunch of friends are about to circle back to me because, oh, Nelly, a lot of people are no longer with me in this storyline after the past 6 years. You know what I mean? Those are my blue blockers. Okay, so I think that's what I wanted to say. Questions, comments, don't worry about the concerns. Everybody worked out. Everything worked out. Let me know what you think. And if you have gone through this or experienced this, let me know. Have you triggered people recently for a good reason? Okay, bye. Peace. Love ya.